Christians, Jews and Moslems, all in Jerusalem, have prayed for a months-long drought to end. And on Monday, rain finally fell. With the approach of Christmas, the Pro Terra Santa organization has launched an initiative to help the aged of Bethlehem. The objective, to better conditions at the women's retirement home and to find the money to build another for men. For the infirm of Jerusalem, parishioners in the Holy City celebrate the Feast of St. Barbara, a day on which to mark a countdown to Christmas and light a tree. Expectation grows in Bethlehem. From the city where Jesus was born, an internet message from the municipality in collaboration with a group in Washington. The Festival of Light. The Jewish festival of Hanukkah has ended. On Wednesday evening, the last candle was lit. Jews, Muslims, Christians united in prayer for rain, which would mean the end of a months-long drought. This followed prayers in the synagogues of Jerusalem and throughout Israel. In particular, thousands gathered before the two chief rabbis at the Western Wall. Similar entreaties were made in the mosques in the presence of Muslim leaders. And last Sunday, the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem requested all Christians to include a prayer for rain in celebrating the second Sunday of Advent. A request directed to the heavens, where the laws apply to all, where the same Father causes his sun to rise on the bad as well as the good, and sends down rain to fall on the upright and the wicked alike. An event which united Muslims, Christians and Jews in prayer for rain in this holy land, which has suffered from the most severe drought in the last 10 years. And the prayer was heard. Last Monday the clouds gathered, bringing with them the first drops of water for this arid land. Even if the rain is still insufficient, it is nevertheless a sign. Above all in the Palestinian territories, where rain falls on rooftops and fills cisterns where it can be kept for summertime.
It last rained at the end of March. Now in December it rains through the grace of God. The rain is collected from rooftops through drain pipes to fill cisterns, which had become dry this year. We thank God and we believe that He will have compassion and will provide more rain in the near future.
The climate in the Holy Land has an unique character. Rains fall between November and April. Yet once again, the rains have been slow to arrive. The Sea of Galilee, which provides drinking water for the land, is well below its normal level.
Some pressing situations which do not get the attention they deserve, such as the promotion of respect and dignity for women, are characteristics of the presence of Christians in the Holy Land. With these words, the custodian of the Holy Land, Friar Pier Battista Pizzaballa, highlighted a reality that tends to be hidden: concern for the welfare of women, and particularly elderly women. Difficult political situations often affect the most vulnerable, the many families without income, shouldering heavy burdens, and struggling to care for the elderly. And so in 1942, a retirement home was opened in Bethlehem, where today about 40 women are cared for, day and night, by 5 sisters and volunteers, with the support of the parish priest, Father Narwan. Here volunteers devote all their energies to accepting that part of society which is too often forgotten.
Elderly people are frequently left on their own. Many relatives no longer look after them, and the simple fact that the volunteers and I come to visit, even if it's just to give them a hug or a sweet, makes their day.
Food, medicines, electricity, even water. Everything is expensive here. Most of these seniors have no family. Their bed and board is no longer paid by anyone, and the mere mention of a welfare state is likely to make people laugh out loud.
There is absolutely no health care. The state has no welfare system or health aid for these elderly people, and critically, there are no pensions. These seniors work all their lives and arrive here with nothing.
Conscious of this, the Pro Terra Santa Association has given thought this year to the creation of a fundraising event in order to pay for the most pressing emergencies, and perhaps to provide a retirement home for men. However, we need to be able to buy mattresses and medical equipment, not to mention basic necessities for all but a few, for most cannot hope for much except for providence.
Young people from various parishes, as well as friars from the custody of the Holy Land, gathered on the feast of St. Barbara to visit the elderly and the infirm in the old city of Jerusalem. They brought with them the traditional St. Barbara candies. There was an emotional atmosphere, not only as far as those they visited were concerned, but also for the participants themselves in this gesture which many need today, along the Via Dolorosa, where Jesus lived his final days of suffering.
This is the first time I have taken part. When they asked me to make this visit with Father Badi, I felt as if I were in heaven. Going into the houses of these people, I even think that we bring something of heaven to them. I was really moved to see the happiness of the old people. Father Badi says that this is the 5th year in which he has made these visits on the feast of St. Barbara. We prepare the sweets and bring them to all the houses in which neglected old people live, whose children might have left the land, and so today know suffering and loneliness. We are here to be with them, to show that we are united, and to bring them a little joy.
After a concelebrated Mass at St. Saviour's, presided over by the parish priest of Jerusalem, the custodian of the Holy Land, Friar Pier Battista Pizzaballa, marked the countdown to Christmas and lit a tree for the parish of Jerusalem, an event attended by Arab Christians from all over the Holy City. To conclude the event, a relaxed time in the parish hall, not forgetting the famous candy of St. Barbara, the patron saint who guards against storms, thunder and lightning, a virgin saint who was martyred by her own father in the 3rd century. The city of Bethlehem is preparing for Christmas. The growing number of pilgrims in the Holy Land is evident at the sanctuaries which commemorate the birth of Jesus. In particular, at a time when the eyes of the world are focused on the Grotto of the Nativity, before which thousands of pilgrims from all over the world pass, the mayor of Bethlehem, Victor Batasse, launches this appeal. We must keep alive in our hearts and minds the memory of the city of the birth, breaking down every barrier in the shape of psychological walls to receive you with open arms, recognizing all as one family. These words of the city's first citizen were heard through the internet in the city of Washington, through a promotion by the Holy Land Christian Ecumenical Foundation, a non-profit organization founded by a group of American Christians with the aim of helping the Christians of this land. A simultaneous transmission in which 300 people in Washington eagerly awaited a Christmas message from civil and religious leaders assembled in the Church of St. Catherine in Bethlehem, a few meters from the Grotto of the Nativity. The mayor thanked everyone for this marvelous opportunity to renew a timeless message of peace based on equality and justice. In Bethlehem, Mr. Batasse added, we have a paradox in which the city, which should be open to people of all nations, is surrounded by a wall. Finally, the mayor appealed to his listeners not to forget the living stones who stand firm in this place.
The Jewish festival of Hanukkah is a feast of light, much in evidence in Jerusalem at this time of year. Commemorating the rededication of the temple in Jerusalem, following the profanation of Antiochus IV Epiphanes in 167 BC, the festival recalls the miracle of the oil supply. In preparing a rededication of the temple, only one uncontaminated container of oil for the lighting of the candelabrum, necessary for the rededication, was found, and this would burn for only 1 day. However, the oil burned for 8 days, precisely the time needed to obtain fresh olive oil and to have it consecrated. Hence the origin of the 8th-day festival of Hanukkah, candles being lit one by one on each of the days, until finally all 8 shine forth. During Hanukkah, children often receive presents, especially in the United States, where Christmas is seen as something of a competing feast. Hanukkah is not mentioned in the Torah, the 5 books of Moses. However, there is a brief reference to it in the New Testament, as Father Angelo Garfolo explains briefly.
In the Gospel of John, Jesus often came as a pious Jew to Jerusalem to celebrate the annual feasts. And these feasts became a valuable opportunity for him to speak and to teach and to provide signs in the name of God. We find him in Jerusalem, in the Holy City, in the Temple, at the Feast of Dedication, the dedication of the Temple, a feast called Hanukkah in Hebrew, a feast also known as the Feast of Light. We read in this Gospel, in chapter 8, that he was there at the Feast of Dedication. It was winter. Jesus walked up and down in the portico of Solomon. A characteristic of this festival was joy and light.
Both Hanukkah and Christmas fall more or less around the winter solstice, and both of them celebrate the re-emergence of light in the world in the darkest part of the year. That's, of course, in the northern hemisphere where they both originated. So I think for both Jews and Christians, the light, whether it's the light of the menorah for Jews, where we light for 8 nights the candles going from 1 to 8, or the light of Christmas with the Star of Bethlehem, the new light coming into the world, I think for both traditions, light is a symbol of faith and hope.